Hello, Barasubui. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our MozFest session. This is the Kiswahili Contribute-a-thon session. And with me are our partners who are enabling us run this Contribute session through next week. And I'm super excited to have all of you here with me. I am Brighton Mosaru from the Common Voice team. With me, we have Abu from the Hekaya Initiative. We have Joan Nabusoba from Pwani Teknowgalz. We have Robert Mrima from Utafiti Hub, and we have Ziri Isa from the Swahilipot Hub. Awesome. So I'm from the Common Voice project. The Common Voice project is an initiative within Mozilla Foundation that aims at allowing communities, different voices to be able to be understood by different technologies. This is made possible through allowing communities be able to start their languages on the platform, and also allow them to run their own community-led initiatives that allow their voices to be heard on the platform. I'm going to take you through the Common Voice project and what you're able to do on the platform. Awesome. So the Common Voice project, as I said, it's a community-led initiative within the Mozilla Foundation, and you can easily access the platform at commonvoice.mozilla.org. And for the Swahili localized sites, you just add a /SW for the Swahili language. So on the platforms allows you to be able to create your profile, allows you to be able to then be able to contribute, but then signing up and creating a profile is voluntary, but then this allows the project to be able to understand how or who is contributing, then that goes to our diversity data, because diversity is a key indicator for the project. So being able to track that is crucial, but then creating and signing up for an account is something that is optional. The three ways you can contribute to the Common Voice project. That is, you can contribute by speaking, that is contributing your voice. Then you'll be able to validate already recorded voices. And then the other step is you'll be able to contribute sentences. So these are Swahili sentences. So once on the project, on the platform, you're able to get a sentence displayed to you, then you're able to record yourself reading that sentence. Then that allows you to be able to contribute your voice. So the other thing very important is validation criteria. So for those folks who are doing the validation, what happens is there is a criteria for you to be able to validate a voice clip, if it's okay, if it's not okay. So the most key component is being able to listen to each and every word on in that clip. There can be background noises, because we know we live in or we stay in situations where there are background noises. And also in the real world, when you're using voice technology, there will always be background noises. But the key thing is being able to hear each and every word in that clip. Another most important thing is ensuring that you do not invalidate a clip because someone has pronounced a word differently from how you will pronounce it. We need to appreciate that we all speak differently. And in the sense of diversity, it means that then different people will read or pronounce words differently. So you do not downvote a voice clip because it's said differently. And the other most important thing is, if you're not sure about the validity of a clip, it's always very important to just skip that clip. So the other thing you can do is you can contribute sentences. So we allow the platform allow community members to be able to contribute sentences that are in the with under CC0 certification, that is in the public domain. So then each and every sentence that is contributed needs to be in the public domain, so that then allows the Common Voice platform to use that sentence of voice contributions. Awesome. So right now we're in first quarter of 2022. The data set has grown, and this is the most diverse data set on the Common Voice platform. The number of languages have increased, have gone up. The Swahili language is now on the Common Voice platform in the latest release. So that means you're able to download these datasets and be able to start using that to experiment, to research, and then test your own models. So we have over 200 developers who have helped create the software. We have 18,000 plus hours of voices. We have 88 languages, and this is always growing. And the number of contributors has gone up to 450,000 contributors. So as I mentioned, the Kiswahili voice dataset is now available for download. So once you go to the site, under Daftari, this is the dataset for Kiswahili, you'll be able to get the Kiswahili dataset that is around 13 GB of MP3 files that then you're able to download. So these are 146 hours that have been validated. Awesome. So now we'll take this opportunity to welcome our partners who are working with throughout of next week to be able to support us in the Contribute-a-thon. So the Contribute-a-thon is a whole week event. So that's the whole of next week, that then we are all able to contribute to the Common Voice project. So you can do this from your home, from your phone. You can meet within community spaces, then be able to contribute to the Common Voice platform. So I'll take this opportunity to welcome first partners. So I'll start with Abu from Hekaya Initiative. Abu, you can take over.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abu. Founding editor at Hekaya Initiative and curator of the annual Swahili Literary Festival, which will be taking place from the 18th to 20th of March. And I'm glad to be here. Glad to have been part of the Common Voice project. I think late last year, around October, November, creating the Kiswahili data set. And I look forward to more of this. Thank you, Bright.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Abu. Next, I would like to welcome Joan Nabusopa from Pwani Teknowgalz.
Oh, fantastic. Hello, guys. Hamjambo mahali mlipo. I am Joanne Nabusoba from Pwani Teknowgalz, and I'm super excited to be joining this session today. And Pwani Teknowgalz is an initiative where we empower young women to venture into technology, to acquire employable technological skills. And we are super excited to be part of contributing to the Mozilla Common Voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Next, I'd like to welcome Robert Mrima from Utafiti Hub.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, as mentioned, my name is Robert Mrima from Utafiti Hub. Thank you, Brighton, and thank you, everyone. I'm so glad to be part of this awesome project. So at Utafiti Hub, what we do basically is we provide market intelligence for startups and SMEs in Kenya and Africa at large. So this project also is very much at heart, and we are glad to have engaged the community, telling them all the benefits and what it means actually to be part of this project. And I can say it has ripple effects, already starting to see them. So super excited to join here, and looking forward also for the Contribute-a-thon week so that we can get more data sets being collected and have more impact and innovations in Africa. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Robert, for that. So next we'll have Ziri Issa from Swahilipot Hub.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ziri Issa. I'm from Swahilipot Hub Foundation, which is a tech, creative, and heritage hub, one of a kind in Kenya, aimed at helping or enabling the young people of Mombasa to develop themselves. And we are so happy to be hosting MozFest, the Contribute-a-thon in Mombasa. Together with Brighton, we've been with Mozilla since the beginning of this project. So looking forward to continuing support this initiative and building data set for the Kiswahili language. Thank you so much. Back to you, Brighton.
Thank you very much, Ziri Issa. Then we have Mark Irura from GIZ, Kenya.
Thanks, Brighton. My name is Mark. I work with GIZ, Mark Irura. I work with GIZ. I'm the focal person for AI for the program FairForward, which is a global program. Maybe when I get a chance, I'll talk about it a little bit in more detail. So for now, maybe I can share that our interest really is in ensuring that we use and capture Swahili and capture it, in the language, and promote creation of open AI datasets, both for voice and text, which can then be leveraged by the ecosystem to kind of build applications and build tools which democratize AI. So I'll cap it there, but I'm glad to be part of the conversation. Again, sorry for joining late. Back to you, Brighton.
Thank you very much, Mark. Mark has been very supportive in Kenya with the GIZ team and the Forward Fair AI team. Awesome. Thank you very much for those introductions. So the next thing is we'll pass it on to Abu to give us a small keynote around the Kiswahili language. Welcome, Abu.
Right, Bryson, thank you so much. Just a quick one. I think I have 5-7 minutes maybe for that.
Yeah.
Excellent. We did the introductions, and I mentioned the organization that I run, Hekaya Initiative, which we founded in 2017. And up to date, we've published an online anthology. We've participated in a collective writing project whose main goal was to bring in writers from the general Swahili coast. And I think our biggest project this far has been the annual Swahili Literary Festival, which is, it's a platform where we try and explore the limits of everything about indigenous languages, especially Kiswahili, because that is our immediate language. And the reason why we choose Swahili, other than it being one of the largest spoken indigenous languages in Africa, is in a way to also correct a whole lot of misconceptions, surrounding the language. I come from a generation of, I grew up in the 90s, going to school in the 90s, where we were punished for speaking Swahili and speaking vernacular in school. We were actually forced to speak in English. And if you speak vernacular of Swahili, you have to wear that monitor written, I am stupid, right? So this, in a way, really affected our generation in a way that we grew up reading primarily English text, and I think some of us just came to interact with Swahili more deeply in institutions of higher learning and after college and through our writing journeys, where we encounter different people, especially writing and propagating Swahili. And I have to say, myself, I'm not a Swahili, but nitasema kwa Kiswahili. If I can use Swahili as well, I'll throw in Swahili and English. Throughout. Mimi nitasema kwamba nimeathirika na Kiswahili na Kiswahili. I've been in a huge way influenced by Swahili culture and Kiswahili, the language. I do not write in Kiswahili, but right now, the projects we are doing at Hekaya, we are trying to engage more into translation projects, looking at this language as something that can drive more cultural, linguistic diversity and integration. And considering Kiswahili is the largest of African indigenous languages spoken, in the continent, in as much as it's not as common as English, but when you compare Kiswahili with other indigenous languages, I think it fares much better. And we're also trying to look at it as a way of driving more art and literary conversations within the continent. So what we try to do with the festival is bring in different stakeholders on Kiswahili language, try to propagate the language as much as we can. We participate, as I mentioned earlier, in a writing project that our main goal was to bring in writers from all over the coast, Mogadishu, all the way to Mozambique. And the first project we did was in English, but we were running a concurrent project in Swahili. We did not want to diminish our own language, Swahili, by translating the English one to Swahili, whereas we have quite a number of writers who read Swahili. But now the challenge when it comes to writing Kiswahili, and this is something I think we've experienced since 2017, is that much as it's an official language in Kenya, there's still a lot of misconceptions around it. Some writers feel, even some Kiswahili writers, they feel or they tend to switch sides very easily because they feel maybe it's easier to get published in English than it is in Kiswahili. And it's quite sad because even if we look at the current generation of readers, we find more doing English than Kiswahili. But recently, there's been sort of a shift, where we find more people keen on promoting Kiswahili, and they start out by reading Kiswahili text. And even as we're talking about this, I think it's important to also congratulate Mozilla Foundation for the Common Voice platform, because it's given us, the propagators and mediators of Kiswahili, a platform to not only showcase our language, importantly, sort of archive it, because language is a thing that shifts, changes through generations. And if we were to take the example of Shen in Nairobi and how it has transformed in the 90s, present day, and consider the role of the youth in this transformation, we also need to consider the fact that Swahili dialects have really changed a lot, right? There's been a lot of assimilation of some dialects into others. Some languages or some other dialects swallowing others. So in a way, what doing this project, this Common Voice project, I think it has provided an archival platform where languages, any dialects, especially dialects that are almost extinct, they have a chance to be showcased. And I think I learned a whole lot throughout. I think we did it for 2 months or something. Learned so much about dialects that I knew were there, but I never encountered a word list from those dialects. And that was an amazing project. And I feel that was really a huge motivation for us as mediators of the language, that you've given us this platform to do this. And what we're trying to look at in terms of Kiswahili is the festival, as a Swahili Literary Festival. And I think it's also important that I mention this. When you talk about Swahili Literary Festival, I think there's a lot of politics around the word Swahili, considering that we are in the coast and we also represent, or rather we are trying to represent other indigenous languages within the coast. So probably unofficially, I might say, and I think this is a good platform to mention this, so we might communicate officially much better. We might be changing the title from Swahili Lit Fest to Pwani Lit Fest to make it more inclusive, right? But what we are trying to do, we're looking at our perception is to try and decolonize our language, or rather colonize languages within the continent. And we are starting with our own Swahili. And I think the best way we're trying to look at it is trying to indigenize it more, or in a way that we are pushing for more content creation in Swahili. And also, because I think for a very long time, we've suffered as content creators, as writers, where most Swahili writers have to depend on creative writing workshops done in English to improve their own Swahili writing, which is quite, it's not easy, But if we have indigenizing our language in a way that we have more trainers, creative writing and content creation, and now that we have the Common Voice project, has given us a huge avenue where we can curate and create and rethink Kiswahili as a language for tech, a language for the modern age. It has a chance to think around new words that are coming up that are not in the Kiswahili lexicon. And I think I might take one, I can't remember who said this, but somebody mentioned that one of the greatest effects of standardizing Swahili has been the fact that we had more borrowed words from English than from the main Swahili dialects. And I think this in a way has diluted our language, because if we were to go back to how Swahili was standardized, how that very act of standardizing that language massacred a whole lot of other dialects, in a way that Kiswahili Sanifu, standardized Swahili, was put as a place on a pedestal that is the preferred mode of communication in Swahili, without considering that we have a whole lot of other dialects, that there's a whole lot of culture in them as well, and history, and we sort of, killed a whole lot of stories when we standardized and put these Swahili Sanifu on that pedestal, right? And if, as linguistic mediators, we might not go back, we may not be in that position to go back and change that, but what we can do, and thanks to the Common Voice project, is really do a lot of research on these dialects, try to get as much history on them, and as much, if we can get like oral narratives and other written text in those dialects, in a way that if we think of this in a bigger way, how do we digitize this knowledge to prevent it from extinction, and I think that is one of our main goals, archiving our language, not only our language, but even I'll say efforts that have been made in the past to propagate and to promote this language and this culture, because we also come from this misconception about Swahili itself not being a Bantu language, but rather is what we're taught in school, I think in geography, history, primary school, that Kiswahili came about as that communion of Arabic and local coastal dialects, which I mean that is a huge misconception and injustice to our language. But I think this has really, in the past couple of years, this has been corrected through numerous research projects and everything, and we have texts that prove that Kiswahili is original Bantu language. So as much as we're thinking about colonizing this, we also need to, I think, to think of how other languages, like foreign languages as well, have influenced on Kiswahili, and how we can, I don't know, should I call it sort of, I think we need to localize these foreign languages in a way that we sort of own them. And when I'm saying this, I'm thinking of a journey, or thinking of two prominent writers, right? We think of Professor Ngugi and his efforts at decolonizing language, writing in vernacular. And we think of his earlier texts, up to his current ones. And then on the other side, we can juxtapose a contemporary writer like Khadija Bajaber, and how she uses English language and owns it in a way that she's able to create local imagery using that language. And I think that is a huge way of using language, right? And how do we colonize this language by come to use it, diversify, I think of Swahili beyond boundaries of other imported languages. How do we, because right now I think we've done quite a lot of work, especially translating between Swahili and English and the other way around. Currently, we are working on a project translating from French to English into Swahili. And I think if we are to rethink this up, try to not to think so much of how Swahili interacts with Western languages, but diversify this thought in a way that we also bring in the East. Yeah, and I think one of the most tremendous commendable jobs that have been done between translating languages from the East to Swahili has been Arabian Nights. I think most people have read it, Alf Ulela Ulela, and that is a text that we as translators and people who are doing translation studies, this is a text that needs to be read and analyzed more, because it offers another avenue of cultural integration. And by bringing in other languages like Arabic, it would be good to also see a translation of Chinese texts, that we're not just basing our translations on non-French and English text. Like if we were to see something like text, something Confucius, translated into English. Are we also looking into the Indian subcontinent? Because there's a whole lot of influence between the Swahili coast and the Indian subcontinent. Right now, I have a book. It's by Mahatma Gandhi, written in Gujarati. He wrote it while he was in prison in South Africa. And these are texts that I've, for the last, I think, couple of months, I've been really thinking about it, how we can translate it into Swahili, and how this stem text and translated into Swahili can be in conversation with other important Swahili texts. For example, Abdulatif Abdallah's Sauti, which he wrote in prison. Salamin Mazuri's Haki was also written in prison. So these, in a way, is how we're trying to look at it. How do we go beyond English and Swahili, English and French and other Western languages, and bring in some diversity from the East as well. My time is almost up. over. So in conclusion, I think what we are trying to do right now is to have more communion between Swahili and more African languages, especially when I think of languages like Nigerian Hausa, which has a whole lot of commonality with Swahili. You know, like how we have a lot of borrowed phrases from Arabic. It's the same way Hausa has borrowed words from Arabic, right? How do we have this communion and escalate in a way that we're having more text within the continent, not necessarily mediated by a foreign language, but mediated by an original African indigenous language like Kiswahili. And the other thing perhaps we want to explore is how do we make youth participate in this decolonization? How do we make youth or encourage youth, sensitize youth to own Kiswahili in a way that they don't really need to change it, but we propagate it as it is? Because I think the youth, their agents contribute to change, right? And we see how language has transformed. First as a language, I mean, how the youth have created their own lingo. First, perhaps you might try to see it as a way of rebelling, you know, a way of creating their own language, which they can only understand and they can only communicate in. And if we think of this, then how do we make Kiswahili, bring Kiswahili to that kind of level where we're having more people, especially talking Kiswahili. We have like one day, it's Pwani Teknowgalz Day, where you do the emails and texts and everything in Kiswahili. How do we get from the youth texting K instead of OK, just writing K, and we have people texting SW for Swahili, that is Sawa. You know, how do we get there? I mean, it's not going to be like a day or two. It's gradual, but we need to start somewhere. Perhaps that place we need to start is with the younger generation, the younger minds. How do we push for more reading and writing projects in Swahili so that they start that appreciation of language from the grassroots, you know, and they grow into it, and they're able to, and we are able as mediators to create structures that enable them to propagate more. So that is all for today. Back to you, studio. Right.
Back to the studio.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Abu, for that. And you mentioned the Swahili Literary Festival. Maybe you can tell us what that is, when it's happening. Can we join virtually for that?
Oh, yes. It's happening from 18th to 20th of March. That is 2 weeks. And it will be taking place in two places. I mean, in two coastal counties, in Mombasa and Kilifi. And this is the future we're trying to envision of the festival. How does it travel to other cities along the Swahilipot Hub? And we have maybe 2023, we're having sessions in Mombasa, having sessions in places like Mayotte or Comoros or Mozambique. So it's happening between 18th to 20th. We'll have physical and virtual sessions, which we should be communicating by this weekend. I think there's just a couple of things we needed to sort out, the new issues and everything. But we're glad that Pwani University have agreed to host us, and I think that is a big win for us because and we'll be working with Brighton and the Mozilla Foundation so far, and this is a communion that we expect to take to other levels, beyond the festival and do more for our language. So we will be sharing that on our website as well, I think by Saturday.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And looking forward to that and getting the whole community participate in that. So we have a question from the audience.
Yes, so we've had a question. Does mixing with other languages lose the culture and stories?
Awesome.
Sorry. Yeah, just repeat the question.
The question was, does mixing with other languages lose the culture and stories?
Not really. Actually, it offers some sort of diversity that opens up, according to the way I see my perception, is that when we have other languages influence Kiswahili, and we might have Swahili influence other languages, one, it enriches the language because we have a larger lexicon to borrow from. Two, it offers an opportunity of cultural exchange, art exchange. You know, if we're having translations from one language to the other, that means that even for the writers, if I have a text written in Swahili, and it's translated to French or Portuguese or Arabic, then that means myself as a writer, my story goes out there to other multiple spaces. And one, the increase in readership. Two, you also have to think about the market as well, because if we translate one text to another language, then that in a way also increase the market for that map. So the languages that have already influenced Swahili have, in my perception, enriched it.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. So if there is no other question, I think we can go to how to contribute. So I think Mark has a question. Mark?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, just please proceed. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
So maybe you can verbalize the question.
Oh, the question is, do you think Swahili can be spoken? Do you think there's potential for Swahili to be spoken beyond East Africa? It's become an official language of the AU, but the concentration of Swahili speakers is mostly DRC and the eastern part of Africa. But what does that mean when they say it's official? Because what are the things? What are the things that could drive its adoption? Or, you know, right now from where you sit, do you think that it could go beyond East Africa? Yeah. Is there potential for Swahili?
Oh yes, it has a lot of potential. Other than it being adopted as the official language of the African Union, and with South Africa adopting it as well as a language in the syllabus, yes, it has that potential. And I think that the job lies with us of how do we get this language to other African spaces beyond East Africa. And I keep thinking, if we have to have this conversation, then for Swahili to become or to grow beyond East Africa in a way that is not only read but it is spoken in other African spaces, then we need to rethink how we've been having these literary discourses. You know, how do we have a sit down between Kiswahili and another African language, as opposed to having a conversation between Kiswahili and French or Kiswahili and English? If you're having a conversation between Kiswahili and choose another language, maybe Hausa or Yoruba, I think this in a way would introduce these language spaces, and it's not easy, and it's going to take time. It's not something that will start today and have results maybe by the end of the year. It will take a whole lot of learning and relearning, but it is doable if we think of having these conversations within the continent. If our own institutions of higher learning in Africa promote are keen on promoting conversations in indigenous African indigenous languages, then this can happen.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that, Abu. So I think, thank you for the keynote. I think you can go to how does one participate and contribute to the Common Voice project. And for that, I'm going to share my screen in a bit. Yep, so this is the Swahili localized site. So you simply type commonvoice.mozilla.org/SW. This will take you to the Swahili site. So once you visit one of the site, there are two things you can do immediately. That is, you can contribute your voice. That is Ongea. Ongea is Swahili for speak. You can Sikiliza. Sikiliza is Swahili for listening. So when you hit the Ongea button, that is the microphone that is in red, what you see is an interface that allows you to read a sentence. You get a sentence, and then you get a mic there that allows you to be able to record that sentence. So for example, this sentence says, eneo lote la mkoa lina kilomita 41,310. So then I'll hit the record button that then allows me to record, contribute my voice. So I'll do that. Eneo lote la mkoa lina kilomita 41,310. So once I do that recording, the first recording, it appears to the right side. So if you're on mobile, you'll be able to see this list at the end of your recording, the 5 bits of recording. So my next sentence says, fuata nyuki ule asali. Fuata nyuki ule asali. So once I've recorded that, it goes up on that list. Then the next sentence says, penye wazee. Penye wazee. I record that, and then I get another sentence. So then there might be a case where you find the sentence might have words that may be difficult to pronounce or a sentence that is too long. What you can do is you can always skip that sentence if you have difficulties reading that sentence. So there's a skip button. So this ruka, skip, get another sentence. So if that is also difficult, you get another, you look for an easier sentence that allows you to be able to record yourself. So for this sentence, it says, chombo cha kuzama hakina usukani. So I'll record myself. Chombo cha kuzama hakina usukani. Then I get the last sentence in the batch of 5. Kuwaona madaktari na wakunga kwa wakati. Kuwaona madaktari na wakunga kwa wakati. Right, so I have 5 clips that I've recorded. We have functionalities that allow you to be able to listen to yourself, your recording. So you listen to your recording, then the other button allows you to get the sentence again, be able to record it again if you feel that you've missed a word or you've pronounced a word, or maybe you've made a simple mistake that you want to change. So this button allows you to be able to listen to the recording. So once I hit play, I will hear the recording. So I confirm that, I got the next one. I'll confirm that. That's okay. Awesome. So each and every piece of that, of my clips, the 5 clips is okay. So what I'll do is upload, that is Wasilisha. So I'll upload it to the platform. Awesome, so that's how easy it is to be able to get started contributing. So then I get the pop-up that I've been able to contribute. So that then what happens is I'll get a message that umesaidia Common Voice kufika 1% ya malengo yetu ya kila siku 1,200 ya kurekodi. So that gives you kinds of like tells you like your contribution has contributed to the daily 1,200 targets for the language. So then the next thing you can do is you can be able to continue with another batch of 5, or you can then be able to create targets for yourself. So once you do this, you get another batch of 5. So that's how you're able to easily contribute your voice. So the other thing is you can do is you can listen. So that's Sikiliza. So listen allows you to be able to listen to what has already been recorded by the community. So what happens is you get a sentence and then you get a clip. So you hit this play to be able to listen to that clip. So the criteria that I mentioned earlier that will allow you to be able to validate or invalidate a voice clip. So the most key criteria is that you can hear each and every word in that sentence. The other thing is there might be background noises, but then allow, if there is background noise, but then you can hear each and every word in that sentence, it's okay, that works. But if there are cases where you listen to a clip, but you're not sure about something, the thing is not invalidate it, just skip it, then you get a next clip that you can look at. So for this, I'll hit on the play button. Awesome. So it's you hear the voice once you hit the play button, then you're able to validate or invalidate that sentence. So I'll play it again. Awesome. So for me, that sentence is okay. So I hit ndio. So then you get another sentence. So that continues with a batch of 5. Then once you're done, those sentences, those validations are also added to the platform. So I'll go on for this one. Awesome. So I'll validate that. Okay. That's okay. I get the next one. That's okay. Awesome. It's okay. Awesome. So I'll do that. So then you get the same thing. You get some data. So this is kind of like how much your contribution has contributed to the daily goal. So for validation, we have a daily target of 2,400 clips. So then your contribution, you get that statistics telling you that how much your contribution has made to the daily target. Awesome. So that's how you can easily contribute your voice by speaking. And then you can also contribute by validating the voice clips that are already recorded. So the other thing we have is some stats. These stats are, there is like a leaderboard. We have a leaderboard here. So for example, I can see myself there with respect to the other. So, but then this is for the whole Common Voice platform. You can specifically click for the Swahili language. So once you click on that, so you can see today we just started. So we have 5 clips. I think this is on mine. These are mine. So then the other 5 validated clips. So then I can see myself on the leaderboard. So you can see the community has been very active. We have folks who have been contributing the voices to the platform. Awesome. So then the other thing is, how do you get access to this data? So as I mentioned, in the current version of the asset, 8.0, we have the Kiswahili language. So this is the first release that has the Kiswahili language, and we are very excited about it. We have 13 GB of MP3 recordings that are all CC0. So what happens is you can you simply provide, you can look at that demographic data. So this demographic data is important because then it helps us look at how are we doing in terms of reaching a diverse data set. So as you'll see here, we see we need to do a lot of more work to ensure we reach people who identify as identify as women, right? So then you can add your email address. So that's simply how you get the data set. So for example, I'll put my email address there, right? Then it tells me, are you ready to download 13 GB of data? So maybe this can be internet, ensuring that you have internet enough connectivity. And then I confirm that I agree that I will not use this asset to identify people who have contributed to the data set. So that's a very important thing. So once I do that and I hit Pakua is downloading. So then I'm able to download and save that whole data set to my machine. Awesome. So that's how simple it is to get that voice data set to be able to test your models and see what you can build with the language. Awesome. So the other most important thing is sentences. As you've seen, we were reading sentences in Kiswahili. So there is a sentence collector on the platform. So this allows you to be able to add sentences. So we usually advise people to add sentences that are words and that they speak every single day, then be able to build towards that corpus. And then, for example, here you can write, for example, today's Thursday. So I'll say, Leo ni Alhamisi. So Alhamisi meaning today is Thursday. Then you can add as many, so each line you add a sentence, you can add as many sentences as possible. So then you're asked where do these public domain sentences are coming from. So then I can attribute them to myself. And then I can just confirm that these are, I'm putting these sentences that are in the public domain. So then I'm able to submit, hit that, then just confirm. And then you get your one sentence uploaded to the platform. So now what happens is someone else will see these sentences and then be able to review them and confirm if they are okay. So sentences are not, the I is the criteria for the sentences that you add to the platform. So you cannot use abbreviation. So for example, you can't say KBC. KBC is the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. So you can't say Mwanastasa aliongea kwenye runinga ya KBC. That is a politician was speaking on the KBC radio station. So you can't use abbreviations, because then for some people, they might not know the context of what KBC stands for. And it becomes a whole challenge in that sentence. Then you cannot use numbers. So you can't say 12, you can say, so you have to type 12 in Kiswahili for that. Then the most important is the sentences have to be in the public domain. So it is very, very important. So you do not, it's not allowed to go and copy paste text that's owned by someone else. So that's why we always sometimes encourage is, if you do not have text that is in the public domain, the most critical thing you can do is just come here and type the sentences that you can think of your head, of things that you do on a daily basis, and that becomes easy to be able to do that. So the other thing is, apart from adding, you can review sentences. So at the top here on the nav, there is the review section. So you hit on that. So you get an interface that's kind of similar to the validating of sentences. So let's see if that loads up. Awesome. So what happens is you get a sentence. So this sentence says, Kenya haijawahi kuwa raundi ya pili katika kombe la mataifa ya Africa. So then you see there is a source down there. So what you can do is you can look at the sentence, then ask yourself a number of questions. There is a criteria of how you review. So there is a review criteria. So once you hit that, you get to see that review. So for example, the sentence must be spelled correctly. So Abu mentioned using short forms. So I don't know, that brings another challenge because we have cases where instead of someone typing sour, they just type SW, as he mentioned. So that's another challenge. That's a very interesting thing to see. The sentences must be grammatically correct. So it must make grammatical sense. The sentence must be speakable. So we encourage you to use daily words, daily vocabulary, then makes it easy for people to speak while they're doing the contribution. So if the sentence meets the criteria, click the approve button on the right. If the sentence does not meet the criteria, you can reject on the left. But if you're not sure, always hit the skip button to get the next one. So if you run out of sentences, please contact us for more sentences. Awesome. So when I look at this, when I look at this sentence, Kenya haijawahi kufika raundi ya pili katika kombe la mataifa ya Africa. That makes sense, right? So what I do is I'll hit the approve button. Then I get the sentence, dakika zetu. This is a good sentence. So this is by Shalunga. Muda umekwisha. So does that make sense? Is it grammatically correct? Please make sense, it's readable. Tusonge mbele, that is readable. So I'll approve that. So that's how you easily able to approve sentences. And you can see these are sentences contributed by community members, and these are daily things that we speak on a daily basis. Awesome. So the next thing that we do is just finish your review. Yep. So you can see that now I've reviewed 4 sentences. Awesome. So the other most important aspect is to be able to create a profile. This is not compulsory, but then this helps us be able to track the demographic of folks who are contributing. So for example, this data is very important because it also shows us how diverse the data set is. Are we reaching communities that are diverse to be able to contribute to the voices? So creating a profile is not a must, but then we encourage you to do it because then it helps us see those demographics. So I can look at the Wasifu. Wasifu is the profile. So I can look at my profile. So that is my name. Then it asks me, do you want to appear on the leaderboard? I'll say yes. So then I can put my age brackets. I can put my the gender I identify with. Then the languages, so Kiswahili. Then I say, which variant of Kiswahili do you speak? Do you speak Kiswahili Sanifu? Do you speak Kiswahili ya Bara? Do you speak Bara Tanzania? Kingwana, Kimbita. So this is work. This is coming from work that Abu and a number of linguists that we engaged with within the team to be able to help us identify this kind of variants. So once you've done that, you can hit the save to update your profile. Awesome. So that's basically how you can easily be able to contribute to the project. Awesome. So I'll stop sharing. So I'll go back to, just give me a second, I'll go back to the slides. So I don't see questions.
Just one question, Brighton.
Okay.
One of our viewers on YouTube has asked if anyone can contribute to the Mozilla Swahili voice.
Awesome. Yes, everyone can contribute to the Common Voice platform, and especially for the Swahili language. Anyone can contribute. There are the three ways I've said you can contribute, that is speaking, listening, and contributing with sentences. You do not have to do all of them. You don't have to do all of them. You can decide if you're not comfortable speaking. You can do the voice validation, and also you can do the sentence contribution. Awesome. Okay, so the other most important thing is for contributors, you have to be above 18 years of age. That's a very important aspect. So if you're within your communities and doing contribution drives, please ensure your community is folks who are above 18. Those are the folks who are able to contribute, because then we have to get into getting consent from parents. So it's always better if we have folks who are above 19. The contributions, remember, have to be in the Creative Commons CC 0 license, public domain. Your account, you can create an account, as we mentioned, but you not always have to. The other thing is you can register to the newsletter. You're able to see updates of what is going on through the project. So there are terms of the Common Voice terms. So these, you can see them on the website. So I just share that. I've mentioned a bit of that. Yep, so these are the terms. So we have talked about eligibility, above 18. Your contributions have to be under this license. You can create an account. Communications, you can subscribe to a newsletter. We have a Discord that has a number of announcements that get announced there. The updates. So we've talked about providing emails. If you provide an email, then you can allow us to be able to send you updates about the project. Awesome. So let's go to the next bit of the session. So we have done questions and answers. Then we have an announcement we are making today. We're very, very excited about this announcement from the Common Voice Swahili team. So I'll be able to share a slide on that. So we have had announcements, so drum rolls. Yep, we are very excited about this from the Common Voice Swahili team. This is work that has been done by the fellows. We have worked with the Africa Mradi team. The whole Common Voice project team is excited about this. We're announcing use cases grants. So we're announcing USD $400,000 grant for voice technologies that leverage the open source Kiswahili dataset that I've shown. Each award will go up to $50,000. So the winning projects in Kenya, Tanzania, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. So we are speaking projects focused on agriculture and finance that can uplift groups who experience digital exclusion due to their gender, income inequality, and location. So we are very, very excited to see what the community and folks are able to build using the Common Voice project, the Common Voice dataset that are now publicly available to everyone to use. Awesome. We're very, very excited about that. I can see Abu clapping. Yeah. Yep. So, and Ziri mentioned they have a Pwani Innovation Week in March. That is the link that you can be able to see all that. Awesome. Very excited about this work that is being done by the community in the Swahili community. Awesome. So I do not see any question. So I think we can end it there. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, Brighton, for the wonderful presentation, and thanks everyone for joining in.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Brighton. Thanks, everyone, as well. Awesome.
Awesome.